Yay. There we go. Let's make sure we get. All right. Hello, hello. Whether it's morning or afternoon where you are, and especially if you're watching this for the recording. My name is Alex Brashears. I'm the admin for the group Private Lending Lessons, which is hopefully how you found this group, where we focus on private lending, kind of all aspects of private lending. And today, especially, a very important aspect to both active investors and private lenders is getting a hold of capital. Whether you're a new private lender, you want to expand your capital pool by doing some brokering, you have to find those individuals. You have to network with those individuals for capital. If you're an active investor that's looking to attract capital to your deals, guess what? You have the same problem a private lender does. So when my friend Amy was like, hey, I do this thing on LinkedIn and I raise capital, and she's raised millions of dollars off LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh, you need to talk to my group. So that is how Amy came to be. Amy and I have known each other for a couple years now, and
Yes.
good friends. We see each other weekly in an accountability group we're in together. And I just thought she had so much valuable information that could just be really great action tips to kind of get people started with LinkedIn specifically. So if you are someone, I personally, I'm sorry, Amy, LinkedIn drives me crazy. Like I actually had to snooze my LinkedIn account for a little bit because I was just like, I can't. So I'm especially excited to see if there's a way that I can use it where it doesn't drive me crazy, but I still get engagement and get something meaningful connections from it, right? Because that's how you're going to find capitals, those
Yep.
meaningful connections.
Yep.
So I'm going to let Amy introduce herself and say, talk a little bit about what she does and then kind of her experience, and then just kind of take it away.
Challenge accepted, Alex. So my goal now for the presentation is to get Alex back on LinkedIn. No. All jokes aside, thank you so much, Alex, for the warm introduction and for having me here. You are such a dear friend, and I'm endlessly impressed by you and how you give to so many people. So I just appreciate being here, and it's great to meet everyone today. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce myself with slides, but I am pretty informal. So you feel the need to interrupt, I don't know if that's, against Alex's rules, but I don't care. You can interrupt me if you've got questions. I probably have a longer presentation than I have time. So if I'm talking fast, feel free to tell me to slow down. But I get so excited to talk about this because I have, I've seen such great results from myself and the students I teach. And this is not beer. This is an iced tea. So it's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. So just want to make sure we're being transparent about that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and then give myself an introduction there. All right, so you all can see my screen, I'm assuming. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to teach you all a little bit about my LinkedIn capital raising secrets. But first off, who am I? So I have an organization, a company called Sylvis Capital. I live in LA with husband Joel. We capitalize the husband because that's his proper title. No one calls him Joel. We just call him husband Joel. A lot of people in LA that just that know him by that title. So he's a great man. We love to travel internationally, spending time with family. And of course, I'm a huge college football fan. I am the founder and principal of Sylvis Capital. I currently have just about 750 units, apartment units, and 208,000 square feet of flex industrial out in Kansas City, Missouri, and about 96 million in assets under management. And almost all of the capital I've raised has been off of LinkedIn by complete strangers. And I'm just so excited to be able to tell you all a bit more about how you can do that too. So we're going to really barrel through this. Again, let me know if you need me to pause or go slower, but this is really exciting. So why LinkedIn? Because there are so many other social media platforms, right? So why are we focusing on LinkedIn specifically? Well, the demographics are different on this platform than any other social media. So if you're like me, maybe you casually browse Facebook, Instagram, maybe you're even wild and you're on TikTok. But almost half of LinkedIn users earn $75,000 or more a year, which, depending upon your perspective, that may be a lot, that may not be a whole lot. That's actually the highest of any social media platform out there. And over a third of all millionaires have LinkedIn profiles and are on the site. It's obviously a worldwide platform, so almost 900 million users, which is massive. And the average LinkedIn person, forgive the teary eyes here, my eyes are watering because of allergies, 2 times the buying power of the average web user. for LinkedIn. So just a few morsels to get you excited, including Alex, about why to get on LinkedIn. Okay, so this is the really cool part. Has anyone Googled their name recently? Yes, Alex has. Jason, Curtis, Goodwin, Manny, Tina. I'm going to put you all on the spot. Have you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you when I Googled Alex's name, and then I'm going to ask one of you all to be a volunteer. No, truly, check this out. Most people, if you have a LinkedIn profile, if you Google your name, if it's not the first result, LinkedIn will be your second result. What does that mean? Why does that matter? Well, this is really, aside from your own personal website, this is your calling card, your business card, your presence to anyone in the world. So
just to let you know, Amy, that's not actually me. It's a different
Alex. Not?
It's a different Alex for sure.
Oh, it's a different one. Okay.
It happens all the time, but
that's so funny. Fair enough.
That does actually happen, but yes.
Yes. Let's try somebody else. Who else would be willing? I'm going to share my regular web here. Who else would be willing to let me Google their name, and we can do a little experiment, see what happens. Curtis. Curtis.
Google mine. Curtis. Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's see what we got here, Curtis. Curtis Marker. Is this you?
Yeah. Wow.
Number one result.
Number one result.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So if this doesn't emphasize and really underline for you all why it's so important to have a presence above and beyond capital raising, but just for your business, I hope you all really take that part to heart. All right, so let's keep going here. So I'll give you a second to Google your name. We already did that. Okay, so great. So you're on board. You get it. Hey, Amy, I get LinkedIn. I'm excited. So where do I even start? Because it is kind of a different platform, right? It doesn't really look like maybe some other social media platforms. And if you've, gotten sick and tired of the weirdness on Facebook or something like that, you may be even further deterred. Alex is shaking her head. Yes. So where do we start? Okay, so this is where I think we should all start. I'm sure you all have heard of know, like, and trust. Really a great way, especially if you're a capital raiser, but anywhere, any part of business, to really focus on that. Well, I use this framework for how I engage on LinkedIn. Let me tell you a little bit more. So this is the funnel, especially when you're raising capital or if you're doing business development. You have to start off by people knowing who the heck you are. They can't like you and they can't trust you if they don't know you. So we're going to start first by getting you known because that's the order of operations, if you will. I mean, my math people. So how do we get people to know, like, and trust us? So for me, it really comes down to three things in my experience. It's the algorithm. So understanding how the algorithm works, it's posting, and it's commenting. So hopefully you aren't too intimidated thus far. We can really break this down and show you the keys to success here. So who knows what an algorithm is? Does anyone? Oh, I gave you a cheat sheet. Can anyone let me know if you understand or you can explain to others what the algorithm is? No one told you this is going to be an interactive course.
I mean, I can't really explain it because I'm not a tech guy, but it's the way the software, I guess, they're all different, but it's the way the software, I guess, can promote you or how much activity your page could get, I guess.
Love it.
On random or not known, relative to your page, I guess. People.
Yeah. Good. I appreciate that, Curtis. You're right, because almost any social media platform, it's not that, what you see isn't chronological, right? It's not like you see the most recent post or the least recent post. There's something behind that. Anyone else want to stack on Curtis's really, really good answer?
I would say it's like some sort of I think there's math in the background. Like the back office is building math and it says whatever is engaging the eyeballs the most, because they want people on your social media platform the most. So it's whatever's engaging eyeballs most, they're going to push towards the top of the list to show to more eyeballs.
Bingo. Perfect. Between you two, you guys really nailed it. So it's really a process or a set of rules, often backed by math, to be followed in calculations and other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. So yeah, it is this constant stream of, basically our algorithm overlords deciding who sees what and how often. So the great news is, and that may sound a little daunting, it did to me, but it's pretty easy to figure out what the algorithm is and how to hack it. So that's the first thing I want you all to understand. And I'm going to give you a few tips on the specific LinkedIn algorithm so you can get more of those views that'll lead to more people knowing about you. Before I talk about that, who's heard of the book called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann? Yeah? If you haven't read it, oh, sorry, go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, I was just saying I haven't heard of this one.
Oh, it's such a good one. Do yourself a favor and buy it. It's a quick read, but it's such a great book. And it talks about something that Alex and I think everyone else on the call believe in. It's this abundance mentality that in order to give, or excuse me, in order to receive, you got to hurry up and start giving abundantly, giving without the expectation of anything in return. And depending upon your view of the world, that may give you the heebie-jeebies, or you may be like, wait, what? But here's the really interesting thing about The Go-Giver and this book. This is how the algorithm on LinkedIn works. If you can just remember that the more that you give, the more you will receive, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means specifically, you're going to do really, really well at hacking this algorithm. So write down real quick to buy the book if you haven't read it yet. It's well worth your time. And the author's super active on LinkedIn too. So if you talk about him or say something, he replies. It's really neat. It's really, he's a real sweet guy. All right. So we're going to go over just real quick why I think this book is a great framework for the algorithm and hacking the algorithm. We don't have a ton of time, so I'm just going to go over just a few of these, and you guys can go back to the recording if you need to go into more. But let's look at the law of compensation, again, through the lens of capital raising. On LinkedIn, to hack the algorithm, your income or your views or your ability to get more people to see what you are posting is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And the law of influence, your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And law of authenticity, the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself, your true self, and how you are, being vulnerable. So it may be counterintuitive to some, like, hey, Amy, I'm here to raise capital on LinkedIn. Why am I talking about other people's interests, other people's needs, and all of those things? Well, I'll show you why this works with the algorithm. I'm going by quick. Any questions? Anything you all need me to clarify along the way? We're good? All right, cool. All right. So let's talk a bit more specifically about how we can hack this algorithm to get more people to know who you are. And again, with that Go-Giver frame. This may upset you, but you're going to need to post 5 to 7 times a week. That may seem daunting. We'll talk more about it, but it's actually a muscle. It's a great muscle you can exercise. And again, a great way that you can provide massive value to the people that you're looking to attract, that you're looking to either raise capital from, get new business from, all of that. So when you're posting, what should you post? Well, one secret of the algorithm I've found, it's not that easy for me, I'll admit, but pictures of faces where you can see the whites of people's eyes, kind of that up close. This does what's called stopping the scroll. We've all kind of doom scrolled or just mindlessly scrolled through social media. Our goal is to really get people to stop what they're doing and engage and look at what we're posting. And LinkedIn has found that pictures of your beautiful faces are what do that best. So maybe don't post every single day a picture of your face or other people. I know, right? It's the narcissism for me. But you can still, use that to your advantage and show your family, show you doing, various activities. And I know these are a little maybe unrelated, but I just think they're the quickest go-to tools for you to keep in mind when you post. I see a lot of people posting websites in their posts instead of giving the link to a website in the comments. Here's why this is a game changer. Alex alluded to this earlier. How does LinkedIn make money? It makes money through selling ads. How are ads priced and sold to LinkedIn? It's by eyeballs. So every time you post to an outside website, it's taking eyeballs off of LinkedIn and onto another website. So the algorithm, in all of its wisdom, when you first post, is scanning for various things. Is your face there? How often have you been posting in the past? Are you commenting on other people's posts, but also, is there a website that's going to lead to traffic and eyeballs going somewhere else? So if you need to share a website, put it in the comments. I know it's annoying when people say, hey, link in the comments or something like that, but that's another good thing to keep in mind. And a little controversy can sometimes go a long way. I'm not saying to do full on, Facebook political discussions, right? We're all sick of those. No one wants to see that. But, I've been known to say something like, your house isn't an asset. Woo, do people have big feelings about that? And I'm not necessarily doing it to antagonize people. It can be a great way to spread information, give new ideas to people that are specifically my target audience. So take a screenshot of this if you want. I know Alex is recording this and will be up, but just keep these basic tips in mind as you start to grow that muscle of posting 5 to 7 times a week. All right. So we talked a little bit about the algorithm. I alluded to posting, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about posting. So this is going to take you on that funnel from being known. The algorithm is going to help you with that. Being liked is next, and you can do that through posting and what you post. So how many of you post on LinkedIn regularly? Maybe a few times a week? Anyone? No, Alex definitely doesn't. Anyone else?
Not at all.
That's okay. You actually have the biggest opportunity for success by starting off. So, it's harder when you already have good engagement. You've already, have a presence to kind of exponentially grow. When you first start off, you can just, hockey stick that sucker. So it's exciting. All right. So what should you post? I told you a little bit about the algorithm rules and things around that, but, what should you be posting? My best advice is to start with your target avatar in mind. And I know this can be a little intimidating. My students tell me this can be a little stressful because they're just looking to raise money from anyone and everyone. The last thing they want to do is narrow their focus or narrow their, pond or pool of potential investors by defining an avatar. But the reality is it's actually counterintuitive, where if you actually speak to an exact person, a precise age, that has an income, that has a name, really outlining all of that, believe it or not, you'll resonate with those people more. And then you'll likely catch other people that maybe tangentially relate, and you'll be a lot more successful. So let's start with your target avatar, and that's who we should speak to when we're posting. That would be my recommendation. So diving deep into, let's say my avatar is Sharon. She's a 55-year-old woman that works as an administrator at a hospital out here in LA at UCLA. She's got 2 kids. One is 13, one is 16. And so I'm going to keep all of this in mind. And she's looking at retirement. She's kind of wondering, what's her life going to be like when her kids finish high school and go off to college. This specificity helps me understand, what are her desires and goals? What are her fears and pain points? So getting that specific with my avatar can then start to churn up ideas of, what should I be saying to this woman that may be looking for a way to diversify her 401k from her previous job? She likes the stock market, but she doesn't want to be fully invested in the stock market. So what else could she do? Or maybe she really wants to spend a lot more time with her kids. They're teenagers, so maybe they don't want to spend a ton of time with her, but she realizes, the years are numbered before they go off to college. So she'd like to choose a job where maybe she has some more freedom, maybe not work as many hours and generate a second stream of income. So she has more flexibility. So thinking about all these things can then cascade us into, what should we be posting? Get this, yeah. So, and then of course, for me, I raise capital for people that are investing in apartment buildings. So I then link, how I can solve their problems, about how can I help them diversify from the stock market in their retirement account? How can I help them generate a second stream of income so they can spend more time with their teenagers who don't want to spend time with them, but they'd like to do it anyway. So, really marrying that and taking that to the next step can really give us a nice brainstorm. So what we can say as we're posting 5 to 7 times a week and what solutions we can provide. And then of course, from this, we'll wrap this back up to the go-giver mentality of how are we going to serve these people? I often take a cue from the go-giver, and I love giving education. So, teaching folks, many people haven't heard of a self-directed IRA. They've heard of maybe a regular IRA, but they just know they can only invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. They don't know that they can invest in, physical bullion or commodities or businesses or, I think private lending, right? Right, Alex? Yeah, for sure. All sorts of opportunities. So I can give daily or weekly education on that topic alone. Hey, did you know, if you changed your job recently and you've got your old 401k, you don't have to take that 401k and just roll it over to your current job. You can take control and have more control over it. Or you can say, hey, do you feel like you've been working, your tail off for this organization? You're realizing your kids are growing older and you want more time to spend with them. Here's how we might be able to get you to your goal of getting another stream of income that can support more job choice. You get the idea. We're trying to just marry our target avatar with their pains or their pain points or their desires and just keep giving. All right. So some other things in addition to giving, a lot of us are always learning. If you're in this industry and you've had some longevity, you know that learning is part of the game. So if you're posting, some other ideas to think about is if you recently learned something, share with your audience. Or if you recently had a change in perspective. I was hesitant about talking about changes in perspective personally, because I kind of wondered, was that going to show, maybe I was inconsistent or maybe inexperienced or unreliable. But I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that, there's a lot to learn in this world, especially in business, and they admire people that are on this constant hunt for growth. So maybe you believed that, in order to buy an apartment building, you had to have $1 million. And now I realize, I can just pool my money with a bunch of other people and only need $50,000, something I used to believe. And now I've changed my belief and I'm sharing with people on LinkedIn. Current events are a good one too. There's a lot going on in this world. And I think people are, don't really know what to make of it or maybe how it's relevant to their personal finances or their personal goals. So I get a lot of questions personally about, hey, Amy, interest rates have skyrocketed. Doesn't that mean now is a really bad time to buy real estate? Let's talk about it. Let's think of different perspectives, right? So thinking about what may be on the mind given current events of our target avatar and then providing them some anchor there will induce them to like us more and then take us into the trust category as well as we continue to provide that value every time we post. I'm going to take a deep breath. Anyone have any questions? Are we tracking?
I just had a question come in that was relevant to the posting.
Yes.
For the posting of the face, will that work for videos? So if someone decides, it sounds like they're asking about if they go and talk to LinkedIn, is that the same for the algorithm as a photo of someone's face?
Good question. Videos are not rewarded well on the algorithm, unfortunately, on LinkedIn. I post them on occasion just because it's the best way to give education sometimes. But for the most part, all other things equal, posts of faces instead of videos do a lot better and are shown to more people. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but that's what our LinkedIn algo overlords decide. Good question. Thank you for asking. Anyone else? I know we're about halfway through, so we're going to keep going then. All right. Again, feel free to screenshot this. I'm just going to barrel through it. Myths you often hear about real estate investing. I get a lot of people that think they must be accredited in order to invest. So I like to talk about that and bust that myth. Something you recently experienced, hearing about, maybe a due diligence or a lending or, just anything that you've encountered that you've recently experienced. And then sharing your journey. We all live with ourselves all the time. So sometimes even I forget how useful it can be to talk about, how I got where I am. It personally took me 10 stinking years to get into this space. And, a lot of people are like, how did you have the persistence or what's your why? Not everyone's story is exactly like mine, but being vulnerable, again, bringing your authentic self and sharing, something about your personal experience, regardless of the industry that you're in, this just happens to be mine, can be really helpful to your target avatar. We talked about education. We talked about your why, developing that emotional connection. That can be really powerful as well. So I'm just going to give you a few examples of posts that I've done that have done well. So for me, my target avatar doesn't always understand that there are 3 different types of income. Most people are only familiar with earned income from their job, maybe portfolio income from, buying and selling stocks and capital gains, but doing an education and a comparison between earned portfolio and passive income can be really helpful. That help people really understand, one of the benefits I talk about having passive income and the fact that it's generally taxed less. This is a little bit of an eye chart, but this is my husband and I buying our first multifamily property. You can probably almost hear my loud voice and my cheer as I am on his back celebrating. But again, this is the story about buying my first apartment complex and how long it took me to get there. So that's a nice thing you can share. This is a little bit about, living owner-occupied homes and cash flowing and whether or not it's an asset. A little controversial. But hey, it gets people to think, and more importantly, it can sometimes teach good lessons to people. So that could add value. Okay, so we talked about the algorithm and how that can get more people to know you. Talked about posting and how that can get more people to like you. Excuse me. Now let's talk about commenting and commenting on other people's posts on LinkedIn. So it's all about empathy, and it's about that empathetic perspective that you can have for other people. So commenting on other people's posts can maybe seem a little daunting, can maybe seem even like a waste of time, but I really wanted to show you how you can use comments strategically to get you to your goals and also add value. So if you think of your target avatar, you can actually use LinkedIn to find some of these folks, and you can get to know them and engage them by commenting on their posts. You don't want to be creepy or overly out of the blue, but people have some really interesting things that they talk about. Myself, I'm very familiar with the healthcare space from my previous job and personal things. So I know how to, speak the lingo. I know what's going on in the industry. So commenting on other people's posts and having intelligent either encouragement or asking intelligent questions can start to build that relationship with that target avatar that may be interested in learning about the services that I provide. Again, understanding your target avatar's pain points and goals can be really, really important. Oh, and commenting on comments on your own post. Say that a few times. But if someone's going to bother to leave a comment on something great that you posted, make sure that you're engaging them and replying to them and either thanking them for their comment or continuing the conversation. Again, our goal is to develop relationships. Yes, it's to raise capital. Yes, it's to further our business goals. But the key to really doing that authentically and not feeling like a used car salesman or having other people, not that there's anything wrong with that, but some of us that's kind of not our vibe, is developing that relationship. So if someone says, hey, this is really interesting, asking, hey, what about it did you find interesting? Or was there anything new that you learned? Or how are you going to apply this in the future? You get it. It's just continuing the conversation. And the algorithm rewards that in addition to your relationship with that person being rewarded. So my rule of thumb, and I actually posted about this today on LinkedIn, is to comment on 3 other people's posts a day. It may sound like a lot, but you can probably do it in under 5 minutes a day. So that furthers the relationships that you develop with people. And then every time you do a comment, you give a comment, the algorithm rewards whatever you're posting and gives you more eyeballs. So again, it's that go-giver type thing. If you want to receive more eyeballs on your posts, go give some comments to other people's posts. So this is the virtuous cycle. I love this. I love this graphic that essentially, the more you comment on people's posts, the more LinkedIn shows people your posts. The more you interact, then the more LinkedIn shows people your posts. So it just keeps going in this virtuous cycle. Okay, cool. So that's the know, the like, and the trust. And I think, we've still got some time. I'd love to tell you all a bit more about how to make your profile on LinkedIn look really professional and attractive. And again, stack on how you can attract capital or reach your business goals. So this is my personal page. Took a few iterations, but I want to walk you all through kind of why I've chosen what I've chosen, what to keep in mind for your profile, and then we can go through any questions you may have about that. So the first thing is you can create your own, this is called the LinkedIn banner at the top. I used to just have a generic picture. Nothing wrong with that. It was of an apartment complex, but this is actually really good real estate that you can use to speak to your target avatar and let them know how you can help them. If anyone has Canva, even the free version, you can just search LinkedIn banners, profile banners. You can easily create one. This is way easier to create than I ever anticipated. So I talk about how I can serve people in an action way. So I help people generate passive income without the hassles of tenants, toilets, and termites. And then I have my URL, my website there as well. So don't sleep on this real estate on your LinkedIn page. Make it as eye-catching, but also action-oriented so people who take the time to visit you know what you're up to and what you're doing. Also, this subheadline is something I see a lot of people miss, but can be really effective. When you're commenting on other people's posts, your name appears, but also your subheadline appears. So some people are trying to figure out, who's this Amy lady and what's she all about? Well, my subheadline will tell them pretty quickly without even having to go to my homepage or my personal LinkedIn page. Again, I just reiterate what I do. Same thing about helping people generate passive income. So if you haven't modified that or turned it into kind of an action, I think I see a lot of people just give a list of their job title or what they've done in the past. Try to modify it to speak to people. Instead of it being about you, make it about your target avatar and see how that changes how people view you. Because folks want to know, what's in it for me. So let's help them. Have a recent profile picture. Look, we're all aging. I'm almost 42. It's fine. Age actually really is in our favor, right, Alex? Age is in our favor in this industry. So, I don't mind, but I do see a lot of folks, they have an older profile. Maybe they used to have facial hair. Now they don't. Maybe their hair is a different color, and it's not, this isn't a glamour shot. This isn't a modeling competition, but you do, because ideally these relationships will extend to in-person meetings and things like that. So you want to make sure people know who you are and know, kind of what you currently look like. So when you all meet and do business, you're not a complete stranger in how you look. Include your website, of course. If you don't have a website, get that done. Ooh, in the featured section, this is fun. So right after kind of your basic little headline there is a featured section. And if you don't have it, you can add it. You can Google. I don't have time to show you exactly how to add it. You can highlight any of your posts that you want. So people that are doing a quick glance at who are you can look at some of your top highlights and get to know you pretty well. So got a few different apartment complexes I've gone full cycle on. I did a nice webinar about value investing and why we care more about than just generating $1. We want to have positive impact. So you can choose whatever you want, but it's again a really nice marketing piece that I want to make sure you don't miss out on. And then your about section, a lot of people again may use this to talk about themselves. I'd encourage you to use it as an FAQ section. Tell people who are interested in getting to know you a bit more about how you can help them, some common questions that you get. Again, it's about engagement, giving value, giving education, and helping move people kind of down that sales funnel, if you will, to get to know you and maybe do business with you. All right, we're coming towards the end. So I've got a challenge for you all. Is anyone up for a challenge? Anyone like challenges? I like challenges. I'm kind of a pit bull sometimes. All right, so here's my challenge. I would love you all to commit to posting on LinkedIn the next 5 of 7 days. Alex, this includes you, my dear. Comment on 3 people's posts for the next 5 of 7 days and send 20 connection requests over the next 7 days. Connection requests are important because the more people you're connected to, the more people will see your stuff. And I'll do you one better. If you're willing to commit to do this over the next week, tag me in the comments. Don't do it in your original post. and I will give you comments to encourage and give you further visibility to my network. Who's in?
Yep.
Did I convince Alex? Curtis, you in?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll commit.
I love it. I love
I will
it.
say,
All right.
Amy, we had one question in the chat that was actually about this. Like, how are you growing your connections on LinkedIn?
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Let's go over here and let me show you how a really easy way to do this. Let me share I love that question. Share my screen here. Okay. Here is the easiest way. And LinkedIn is always changing where things are. So if you see me fumble a little bit, it's just because they're constantly changing where stuff is. You can send connection requests. You can do over 100 a week. So here's how you can do this. Go to my network. Oh, hey, Manny. All right. And then go to contacts here. Oh, and they moved it again. Add more contact. There it is. Okay. If you didn't see what I just did, I'll repeat it real quick because I went quick. So at the top, when you sign into LinkedIn, go to my network, then go to contacts on the left. They couldn't make this more complicated if they tried. Then add more contacts. You can put in your own work email address and personal email address and find the people that are already in your contacts and invite them to be connected to you on LinkedIn. So now I got to sign in. Excuse me, that whole rigmarole. But it's great because you can import your the contacts there, find those people who maybe you've talked to a few times, maybe you've lost touch with. Aha. So there are a whole bunch of people, as you can see, I haven't done this lately. I just have to click these boxes and then I can just add connections. So I can do this for, tons of people here, all at a time, very quick. So if I add connections, LinkedIn just will go ahead and send. This is to invite people who aren't on the platform. I'm not interested in doing that. But those two people just got a connection request from me. So that's probably the fastest way to increase your LinkedIn connections by going through your address. Make sense? Yes. Cool, cool. All right, so let me just wrap this up real quick. I'm excited for you all who are willing to take the challenge. So I'll leave a few minutes, for question and answer here, but this is my LinkedIn. So I'd love to connect with you all. If we aren't already connected, you can scan this QR code or remember how to spell my crazy looking last name and send me a connection request. And then I also teach a 12-week course on how I have raised millions of dollars on LinkedIn for my real estate deals. Took me several years of trial and error to figure out that system, but I compress it into a 12-week course and would love to teach you all and have you in that course if you're interested. You can find out more about what that entails at capitalraisingsecrets.com. And I appreciate everyone's attention and engagement. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, so feel free if you have questions to unmute yourself, or you can put them in the chat and we'll read them.
I talked fast. I've never given this presentation that quickly. Sorry.
What entails, like, for your 12-week course? Obviously you're going to go over a lot more details, right? But is that a couple hours a week, or what is the 12-week course?
Yes. Yeah. So it is a 90-minute course once a week for the 12 weeks. And a lot of it is, obviously I teach a lot, but it generally attracts really high quality people, and all of us, brainstorming together using my 4-part system for how to raise capital and growing together. So I don't call it a mastermind. It really is a course, but it ends up doubling as a mastermind because of how we can support each other and troubleshoot and, get this posting, commenting muscle going and getting folks to invest in your deals. Does that answer your question, Curtis?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm interested in that because I'm kind of going all in on social media right now. I've been raising a decent amount of money, but I just started and now it's going very well. So I want to really up the professionalism,
Smart. Yeah, a lot of people run out of the friends and family, right? So finding complete strangers in that, one-to-many format. A lot of people go and they have conversations at conferences and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's really hard to scale. And LinkedIn really, I found to be this endless well of capital and people that really want to be served. There isn't a whole lot of selling per se. It's a lot more of education and adding value, and people are ready. By the time I get them on the phone, people are ready to invest.
Yeah, it's
Is there-
good to hear.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit to posting more than 3 times or commenting more than 3 times?
Yeah, the more you comment, the better. There really is no upward bound there. Not the same for posting. Posting can cannibalize, so I generally recommend people post once a day. Maybe a second time, spread out by about 10 hours, 8 or 10 hours. But yeah, commenting, the more you do it, the better you'll juice the algorithm and the more relationships you'll create. Good question.
Amy, this is Edwin Epperson. Got a question for whether you think it would be valuable to get a premium profile on LinkedIn.
Love that. Yeah, it depends on what you want to do, but I think it's incredibly valuable on my end because I can really zoom in and find my targeted avatar quickly. You can sort by someone who's recently changed jobs. You can sort by people who are actively commenting. Obviously, tenure in the industry, tenure in their current job, geography. There are so many ways to slice and dice. So if you're really looking at targeting certain people to either message or engage in their content, I find the ROI to be very, very clear and it worth every penny. Good question.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Edward. Great question.
All right. We're going once. We're going twice. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Amy. I really appreciate you coming and spending some time. That was a ton of information. And I love the book recommendation because it is a fantastic book. So anybody who has not read The Go Giver, is a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. If there's anybody that wants to reach out and get a hold of you, what would be the best way to get in contact with you?
Yes. Yeah. I'll put it in the chat. It is amy@sylviscapital.com, or you can just look me up on LinkedIn. I'm very responsive to DMs there. Yeah. So yeah, either way, you let me know. But this is really an honor, Alex. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Amy.
I will take you up on your challenge, Amy. I'll get it. I'll give it a whirl.
Thank you. I appreciate your willingness to do that. Tag me so I can support you.
Definitely. Well, thank you everybody for attending. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Amy. As you can see, she's very big on education. And that's one of the reasons I love her so much, because we get along very well because we value education with people. So please feel free to reach out to Amy. If you have any questions about LinkedIn, I am not the person to ask about LinkedIn. So don't email me. I'll just forward you to Amy. So
yeah, even if you decide to not enroll in the course, I'm still happy to help you. So just let me know. I'm maybe doesn't make me the best businesswoman, but I just want to give and help and serve. So just let me know.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you again. And thank you everybody for coming. I'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
Again.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.